What began as a peaceful night of protest shifted into yet another street battle as protesters began launching bottles in the direction of officers.
The criminals embedded themselves and hid behind media. They threw urine on officers, and that's what caused officers to take action and begin to make arrests.
Those responsible were removed one by one. Police used pepper spray to scatter the crowd, but no rubber bullets were fired.
Those small steps are going to turn into giant steps, and those giant steps are going to be great strides for this community.
This on the eve of a visit from the nation's top law enforcement official, U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder. In an op-ed published in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, Holder said the Justice Department intends to learn in a fair and thorough manner exactly what happened.
More evidence is trickling out of Ferguson, Missouri as to what actually happened the day Michael Brown was shot. Plenty of eyewitness accounts are now in serious question. The Attorney General paying a personal visit, and the governor of Missouri is calling for the prosecution of the police officer in question before all the facts are known. Time for some serious discussion. Let us go around the dial. He hosts the top-rated political talk radio program in Florida, financial advisor, senior media analyst for the Taxpayers Protection Alliance, but one who fears no issue for comment at any given time. Welcome into the studio once again. Ed Dean joins us, and it's always a perfect day to have another Ed.
Good to see you, man.
Always got to have an Ed.
Boy,
here.
shooting rubber bullets. I mean, listen, if I could be part of the protest, would you shoot, I don't know, chocolate bullets at me?
They may be coming up with something next.
That's right.
But Eric Holder is now there, and an awful lot of African Americans are even asking, you come here, but there's Chicago. There's so many places where young black men are dying. Why are we focusing on this, and why is it taking you so long, this administration even, to take control of a violence issue in this country?
It's a great question. Everybody's been asking that for some time. I don't want to sound joking here, but there has to be a serious question. I mean, that callers on radio shows, people that watch your TV show, have asked. Number one, you see white and black people protesting. Number one, I want to know who's their employer. How did you guys get all this time off? Number two, another serious question, is somebody paying for these individuals to protest? Here's question number two, Ed. For all the looting that's been going on, for all the destruction on people's businesses, who's going to pay for that property damage? Good question, huh?
People who are in the community are going to.
Is Eric Holder going to pay for it? I mean, they're 5 days late. I mean, I'm not trying to blame him for anything. I don't blame the president, but the bottom line is somebody's got to take charge. I didn't realize we were having a kumbaya here where people are protesting and looting, and we want to, I don't know, maybe treat them with harsh language instead of rubber bullets.
Well, I think it was really just terrible to hear the governor say the prosecution of the police officer involved. The evidence is not even in yet, and
right.
The governor is calling for someone who has not been charged to be arrested and prosecuted, indicted one way or another. This is just not the way it's supposed to be. It doesn't make a difference. I'm not even discussing color here at this point.
That's exactly right.
It comes down to the facts, and you have to let the judicial system play out, and you have to get all the facts out there first.
Well, I don't see everybody coming to the support publicly like Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton to come without all the facts being talked about. In fact, we're already prosecuting the cop already, what's going on. And you bring up a good point. Again, we're prosecuting the cop and the police and the city and the governor before we find out what the facts are. Yet those on the left have already claimed this guy is guilty. And let's continue what other areas we can find him guilty on. Not only did he commit a crime, maybe the Michael Brown's civil rights were violated. I mean, again, before any type of questioning. And by how many FBI agents we have in the area? Is it 40 plus? Were those 40 plus guys in Chicago where you have more black on black crime anywhere else in the country? What about Detroit? What about Philadelphia? No one ever talks about those.
We also do have to admit that there is a race issue problem in this country. There is no doubt about it. Whether you want to call it race war, race conflict, whatever, it exists in this country and it is not going away. And there's even, again, a number of African Americans who say this administration has done so little to bring everybody together despite the promises.
You make a good point, but and I'm not trying to be in defense of the president.
Go right ahead.
But did the president really run? I mean, I know he was going to raise or lower the sea levels and, turn things around like a messiah, but did the president really say that he was going to stop the racial divide in this country? Now, if you believe that people should be able to get more money per hour based on your race and help out the inequality among those in blacks and Hispanics, hey, let's have a discussion about that. I have a different alternative than how the left wants to have it, but that's a discussion when you want to address race, also about income inequality out there. But if you really wanted to push race, you bring a good point. There are those that have come on my radio show in the black community that have sat back and said the president has done nothing for the black community. And it's exactly right.
A couple of minutes we got left. Let's shift over and go to what else is happening in the news right now. An American journalist beheaded by ISIS. We've talked about it on this program. It's not shocking to those of us who have followed what's going on here. This group is bringing its war to the shores of America eventually. Now, what do we do?
Daniel Pearl, I believe it was Daniel Pearl,
Yes.
2004, I remember it, tons of phone calls on the radio show. People were outraged. They were peeved about it, and they should rightfully so be peeved about it. The question is what do you do about it? I mean, it's kind of like a police. I mean, you guys are going to a bad territory. You better have some good health insurance and some good life insurance. But I'm not using it as a sales promo here, but the bottom line is that something has to be done. If you're the worst of the worst, what do you do? I'm not throwing the president under the bus, but you can't come out of here and start preaching harsh language, all right? And something has to be done. The question is what do you do?
One of the great lines that I always remember from the movie Aliens, which was the second one in the series.
Great movie, directed by James Cameron.
The guy in the military said when they took away their bullets, they said, what are we supposed to use? Harsh language?
That's exactly right. Remember, they're in the conference. He goes,
Exactly.
What is this, a town hall meeting going on? It's a great movie.
Exactly. Second thing here, Rick Perry now has been mugshotted. He is now arrested. There's all kinds of sims going on down in Texas right now that the governor has broken the law. What's your take?
Boy, if that would give me that much publicity, please, where can I sign up to be arrested? I'll give you the numbers right now.
We can arrange that.
Interesting things about Rick Perry. He's said some things like the gaffes in the 2012 elections. How do you not know the top 3 areas of government that you want to cut? And yet Ron Paul, who's 50 years older, knows what areas he wants to cut. But Rick Perry, an indictment from a grand jury, a panel of, 14, 21 individuals. That's serious there. But governors on both sides, Democratic and Republican governors, and this president always talks about the use of the veto pen. There is nothing new under the political sun when it comes to the word veto pen. You can call it extortion. It's been going on for 60, 70 years. And the bottom line is that if I don't like this department or the Republicans or Democrats don't do something about it, we always threaten them with a veto pen. What Rick Perry talked about is nothing new.
20 seconds. Do you think that he's actually going to use this to his advantage?
Oh, yeah, why not? I mean, think about all the fundraising he'll have. Hey, remember, the Democrats brought up impeachment when the Republicans weren't even talking about it, and they raised over $2 million in one day. It sells.
Were you serious about that mugshot? Would you like to have one? We can arrange it.
Me and you?
Just
hey,
you.
Vicious and delicious. What a tag team.
Be careful now where you're going with that, okay? That'll take off, and that'll go viral.
I know.
It's always a pleasure.
My friend, thank you so much.
Always nice to hear you're so nice and quiet and so reserved. Please come back and do it again sometime. Next hour on MidPoint, America will not negotiate with terrorists, but the beheading of an American is seen by many as an act of war by ISIS. So what is next on the American agenda with regard to this expanding band of killers? That and so much more coming up right here on MidPoint.